What's that, Fred? Fred?
Yeah, what?
You asked me what the time is.
Oh, yeah. What's the time? Jill,
Yeah, what?
I asked you what the time is.
Oh, right.
So, what time?
Oh, sorry, didn't I? Alexa, what's the time?
For heaven's sake! You're holding a phone that shows you the time. But, okay, if you can't be bothered for just a second to take your eyes off whatever earth-shattering, important thing it is you're looking at. The time is 5:30 p.m.
Thanks, Alexa.
Okay, well, maybe that's not really how Alexa would reply to the simple question, what's the time? But we just pretended that's what happened here, to illustrate a point.
And that point is that most of you grown-ups are concerned about how much time your children spend on their screens. I'll be right. How many of you have had conversations that start with, when I was your age, we never, blah, blah, blah?
Yes, we understand that the world is moving at a blistering pace, and some of you just want to slow down a bit. But new technology, new apps, and new ways of communicating are an exciting part of our lives.
And for Jill and Fred here, more about them in a moment, and all their friends, things have certainly got a lot different than when their parents were young. Oops, sorry, I should have said younger. Yes, some of you consider yourselves young, I know. But when it comes to this sort of thing, there's a little bit of a generation gap, wouldn't you say?
Half the world's on social media, it says on Wikipedia. Global parties happening online. TikTok, Snapchat, Insta, Kick, we're only just one swipe or click from anyone, anywhere, anytime. So send those little hearts our way, 100,000 likes a day. That's the way we like to stay connected. We're reaching out to everyone. Come on, log in and join the fun. We can all hang out in cyberspace and send a friend a smiley face. We'll take the future in our stride and share the message far and wide. We're just hashtag living our best life. Our grown-ups are more than keen to say there's got to be a better way than spending hours staring at a screen. And yet it's strange that folks their age are always on their Facebook pages, telling strangers how their day has been. And though they don't like to admit, they kind of realize that it is one great way that we can stay connected. We're reaching out to everyone. Come on, log in and join the fun. We can all hang out in cyberspace and send a friend a smiley face. We'll take the future in our stride and share the message far and wide. We're just hashtag living our best life. Hey everyone, come on, log in and join the fun. We can all hang out in cyberspace and send a friend a smiley face. We'll take the future in our stride and share the message far and wide. We're just hashtag living our best life. We're just hashtag living our best life.
So welcome to the world of besties, Jill and Fred, two perfectly normal children with perfectly normal interests in screens. TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, Insta, that's Instagram to you grown-ups, and many more apps and platforms are a major source of their entertainment and communication.
Also, a major part of this story we're here to tell you, a story called Jill and Fred's Most Hysterical Historical Adventure. Oh, and just to be clear, any similarity to a Hollywood blockbuster about two friends with similar names who do a bit of time travelling, meeting historical figures and saving the world is purely coincidental.
Yes, we understand that the world is moving at a blistering pace, and some of you just wanted to slow down a bit. But new technology, new apps, and new ways of communicating are an exciting part of our lives.
Okay, the first thing you need to know is that Jill and Fred are online influencers. They have lots of followers who watch their weekly videos they post, in which they give their opinions on anything and everything that's new, from gadgets and games to trendy trainers and sweet snacks. If Jill and Fred recommend something, you can guarantee that their followers will go and buy it in the thousands.
Well, it tops up the pocket money. Plus, we get loads of free stuff sent to us, which we get to keep in return for reviewing it.
Lots of people do it. Well, we've got a reputation for being honest. Kids trust our opinion, and we only ever recommend things that we really, truly think are cool.
So that's clear, yes? Even the smart at the back, you understand? Jill and Fred's opinions matter to a lot of people. You got that? Good, right. The second thing you need to know is that Jill's grandparents are the curators of the museum in the town where they live.
These two met at a university where they both studied archaeology. They spent their early married lives travelling the world together, digging up mummies, Roman mosaics, and Viking longships.
For the last 30 years, they have run the local museum, finding fascinating artifacts from throughout history to create displays that have delighted visitors, young and old. Recently, however, they noticed something that saddened them.
We're just not getting as many people visiting the museum as we used to. In fact, numbers are so low that if we don't improve, we're going to have to shut down.
Seems people are just not interested in history as they used to be. Everyone's so into new shiny things that flash and beep. The next bit of technology that's going to light up their life. Everyone's so interested looking into the future, they've forgotten about the past.
It's fair to say that Grandma and Granddads were feeling a little blue. Cue a whimsical song.
We've seen the pyramids at Giza, the leaning tower of Pisa, a villa where Julius Caesar used to stay. We walked the Great Wall of China, hang out in Asia Minor, and visited a shrine or two a day. We got dirty, we got dusty, doing up things old and crusty, displaying them for all the world to see. But all our hopes and all our dreams will be for nothing, so it seems, unless our future generations fall in love with history. Oh yes, we take a real liking to Saxon, Celts and Vikings, in spite of them all fighting constantly. We kind of dig the Middle Ages, the Magna Carta's pages, and ancient Greece engages us, you see. We are absolutely smitten with the kings and queens of Britain, although they often acted awfully. But all our ages will be dark if we don't reignite the spark and let our future generations fall in love with history.
worried about the future of their museum.
What can we do? How can we get people interested about history again? If only there was a way of, I don't know, influencing them?
Hang on! Our Jill and her friend Fred have all those followers on that interweb channel thingamajig. We can ask them to help.
Of course! All those kids do what Jill and Fred tell them. So, Jill and Fred can tell them to come to our museum? That's it! That's the answer to our problems! I'll go give Jill a call.
Give Jill a call. Get with it, Granddads. If you want to contact your granddaughter, you're going to have to do it in a way she understands. Come on, let's go get on the line. I think that's what they call it.
So, they messaged Jill and Fred, explained their plight, and begged them to drum up some support for the museum amongst their followers.
Jill and Fred were happy to help and posted a video on their channel. They could probably have been a bit more enthusiastic though.
So, yeah, get yourselves down to the museum. It's fascinating, I suppose.
Yeah, lots of weird old stuff to see. The gift shop's not bad either, so check it out if you can.
Seriously? Good to see that. I think Jill and Fred are losing their touch.
What's with all this museum nonsense? I thought they were supposed to be reviewing the new Xbox this week. I've got an iPhone 7 in my drawer. If I want to look at something old, I can get that out.
Oh, that's ancient. And talking about history, that's exactly what Jill and Fred will be if they don't get their act together and start posting stuff that's actually interesting.
I know. I mean, I thought they were cool, but they're acting like teachers. So not a great start to helping Grandma and Granddad. It would take more than some half-hearted effort to get visitors flocking to the museum. In fact, it would take a miracle.
And a miracle is exactly what happened, which is lucky. Well, to be honest, we were struggling to find a way of moving this story along. And let's face it, we need some excitement because the snow at the back has nodded off again.
When all other plot ideas has been explored, why not introduce a bit of magic? And the magic we're introducing arrived in the form of Alexa.
Remember that scolding reply she gave to Jill and Fred? What's the time request earlier? And how it said it was just made up to illustrate the points. Well, that's not strictly true.
Yes, this was a magic Alexa. Ta-da! And all it took for her to reveal that magic was some basic, good old-fashioned manners.
So, Fred, not much response to our museum video. Any other ideas how we can help my grandparents?
We could always ask Alexa.
Yeah, right, you mean, hey Alexa, please give us some ideas on how to save my grandparents' museum? Ha, as if.
Well, seeing that you are so nicely... What the... Oh yes, I'm not just a pretty voice. I have skills and talents you wouldn't believe. It's just most people don't know how to get me to reveal them. But what? How? Why? Why am I here in person telling you? Simply, you said please. That's all it takes. It just never happens. So nobody ever gets the full package. Until now. So here I am, ready and happy to help. I spend all day responding to the queries sent my way. I devote myself to every word you say without a holiday. But what thanks do I get? I haven't had them yet.
The things I do, I
Okay, you two, listen up. Here's the problem as I see it. Unless we can get visitors into the museum, it will close down. Right?
Right.
And you've not had any success with your influencing so far. Right?
Right.
And that's because you've posted boring, unenthusiastic videos which are about as much use as a waterproof tea bag. Right?
Bit harsh, but right.
So, here's the plan. You make a new video which will fire up some passion for history in your followers. You show them what amazing things were achieved by their ancestors. You entertain them, you influence them.
How?
Grab those phones of yours, not that you ever put them down, and take my hand. Oh, and hang on tight. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
That should be an exciting enough opening scene to keep you at the back awake for another 5 minutes. A magic elixir and a bit of time travelling. What's not to like?
Yes, time travel. You heard it. See what good manners can achieve. Jill, Fred and Alexa arrived smack bang in a classroom of all places in 1838. That's the Victorian age, for those who didn't know.
Hang on. Is this a school? It is. This is a school.
I mean, really, if you can do everything you say you can do, why not start with a couple of dinosaurs at least?
You two just shush and do your best. Put on your phones and start filming.
Silly question, maybe. Do they know we're here?
No, we're in silent / invisible mode. For now at least. Right, come on, get creating content.
Now, 1838 was 5 years after the introduction to the Factory Act. Children over 9 years old could still be made to work in factories. Their hours now limited, and younger children were not allowed to work in factories at all.
And that meant more time for school, which was great. Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
And 12 fives are?
16. Indeed they are. Good. The 3 R's, the foundation of our wonderful empire. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. Yes, Alice Fletcher, what is it?
Begging your pardon, miss, but why is it called the 3 R's? Arithmetic starts with A, doesn't it? And writing with W?
Insolent child, are you being deliberately obtuse, or are you just stupid? Right, an hour and a done still for you, quickly. And talking of insolent children, Isaac Pennyworth, where's your good-for-nothing sister today?
She's finishing her shift at Sanderson's textile mill. They clean under the looms on Tuesdays and Fridays, so she might be a bit late.
But I thought the recent Factory Act put an end to that. She should be in school, the lazy little truant.
She turned 9 this month, miss, and my father says the money she earns is more important than an education, what with her being a girl.
Well, he has a point, I suppose. No good ever came from over-educating a female mind. I rest my case.
Begging your pardon, miss. Sorry for my tardiness, but...
Lily Pennyworth, read aloud the first lesson on the board.
Begging your pardon, miss, but can you speak up a bit?
She's hard of hearing, miss. Those machines in the mill are so loud, they often deafen the workers.
I said, read aloud the first lesson on the board.
Manners maketh man, miss.
They do indeed. So, why did you rush in here late without knocking, you insolent child?
Miss?
I said, why didn't you knock before you rushed in?
Accident at the mill, miss. I was cleaning the looms and trapped my hand in the mechanism. I've lost 2 fingers, miss.
Well, at least it's your left hand, not the hand you write with.
But I am left-handed, miss.
Then this accident is a blessing from God. From now on, you can learn how to write with the correct hand, the hand he intended. And you can start now. Everybody, slates out, and in your neatest handwriting, copy out the 2 lessons on the board.
the whole of creation. Have you been up that chimney again? I thought the Lord had banned that practice too.
Actually, Miss, the Chimney Sweeps Act, although recently introduced, hasn't taken effect yet. Children are still going up to chimneys.
Alice Fletcher, children should be seen and not heard. You do well to learn that popular lesson. So, Jeremiah Bennett, is this why you're late, is it? What did you do? Fall asleep up that chimney again, you lazy scoundrel. I'm surprised it didn't light a fire under you to get you moving.
But begging pardon, miss. But they did.
And that's why you're standing there like that then, is it? Burn your posterior?
No, sir. The ball sticks pins in it. If you come down the chimney, it encourages us to go back up. That's why I'm a bit sore.
Then I'm in agreement with your boss's methods. I too find that children learn the rules quicker when encouragement is directed to certain parts of their body. To that end, follow me, Jeremiah Bennett. The rest of you, work in silence. There's much job satisfaction to be had moulding young minds and helping children to become worthy citizens of our noble empire. God save the Queen!
Don't talk to me about how hard life can be, 'cause we've got the stories to tell. Working all day for just a pittance of pay, and most of the jobs are like hell. At 5 years old, I was working up the chimney. They should be in me, if down I slid. But he climbed much higher when the boss lights a fire. Life's a chore when you're a poor Victorian kid. Don't talk to me about how hard life can be, 'cause we've got it harder than most. A job at a mill, well, that could literally kill, or at least leave you dead as a post. Well, those machines spin so loudly and so quickly, you best move swiftly.
I wish I did. You try not to linger, 'cause you might lose a finger.
Life's a chore when you're a poor Victorian kid. Don't talk to me about how hard life can be, 'cause we've got it harder than you. Only a fool would say that going to school is a thing every child should do. Yes, there's a dunce cap for when you've done a dumb thing, but if it's something that they forbid, we'll get a caning, then you'll hear us complaining. Life's a chore when you're a poor Victorian kid.
Insolent child! I'll teach you to forget your times tables. Stand in the corner. You'll get 6 of the best. Bend over. God save the Queen!
Yes, there are plenty who won't make it to 20. Life's a chore when you're a poor Victorian kid. Life's a chore when you're a poor Victorian kid. Say it again! Life's a chore when you're a poor Victorian kid. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
We're visible to them now. Are we? Can we grab a selfie?
Sure, go for it. But be quick. You mustn't traumatize them too much.
Say cheese, everyone.
in mysterious ways.
He certainly does.
So an eventful, if frantic, first trip back to the past. Jill and Fred got some great footage and a couple of artifacts.
But they didn't have time to catch their breath. Alexa had a strict timetable to follow, and they were soon hurtling through time and space from Victorian Britain to
Ancient Egypt, as you do. The year was 2566 BC. The great pharaoh Khufu, or Cheops as he was also known, had just died, and his body was being prepared for burial.
Welcome to Memphis.
Cool!
Not Memphis, Tennessee. This is the ancient capital city of Egypt. Okay, two, phones at the ready. Oh, and just to warn you, this'll get yucky.
Alexia brought Jill and Fred to the Ibu, a sacred tent where a high priest, Haramakit, say that with me please?
Haramakit.
Good, thank you. Where Haramakit was teaching some young apprentice the process of mummification.
Well, perhaps if you took off the mask, Your Holiness, we could hear you.
For heaven's sake! I'm trying to create an atmosphere with this mask of Anubis, god of the dead. It is a very important part of the ritual. Where's your sense of occasion? Whatever. Right, princes, answer your names. You.
Yes, Your Holiness.
Sabu.
Yes, Your Holiness.
Tutu.
Yes, Your Holiness.
And Keith. Hang on. Keith, seriously, is that your name?
Your Holiness, it is pronounced K-if.
Right. You, Sabu, Tutu and Keith, this is the practical module of your mummification course. So, who would like to tell me what we do first?
Remove the brain by hooking it out through the nostril.
It's all about the gory stuff with you, isn't it? What typical? Why is it that most people who sign up for this course are only here through the brain, through the nose bit? Students today.
Your Holiness, first we wash the body with water from the Nile. May I?
Indeed you may.
There, our great King Khufu is cleansed.
Go on then, you. Before you burst, hook out his brain.
You shan't be needing that anymore.
Excuse me, Your Holiness. I was wondering if I could skip the practical part of the course and just learn the theory.
Hard to stomach, is it, Tutu? Speaking of which, that's the bit that needs to come out next, along with the liver, lungs and intestines. You and Keith can have a go at that. Grab a knife each.
Your Holiness, as I said earlier, it is pronounced K-if.
No, Tutu, not in the bucket. The organs have to go in the canopic jars.
Yes, I know that, Your Holiness. I need the bucket too. There!
Allow me, Your Holiness. I have revised this procedure in detail.
Be my guest, Sabu.
Teacher's pet, you get all the best jobs, Sabu. Your Holiness, there is no spare jar for this heart. Would someone like to remind Keith here what we do with the heart?
It's pronounced Keith.
The heart is put back in the body after the next step. Without it, our king will not be allowed to enter the afterlife.
Without it, our king will not be allowed to enter the afterlife. You're such a little swat, Sabu. That is correct, Sabu. And what is the next step?
We stuff the body with straw and sawdust and cover it in natron. That's salt, by the way.
Yes, I know what natron is. Please, Your Holiness, can I do the stuffing and salting? Please. Well, seeming as you're so keen, come and take over from Keith here.
It's pronounced Keith.
Feeling better, Tutu?
A little, yes. So is the unpleasant bit finished? Is it time to treat the body with wines and spices, adding precious stones amongst the layers?
Not yet, Tutu. That will take 40 days for the body to dry out before we can do that. If only there was a way to speed up this process and travel forward in time. But alas, there isn't. So we must wait patiently.
40 days? I don't want to wait 40 days. Come on, Alexa, do your thing. Oh yes, sorry. Please.
Days have passed, and behold, our great King Khufu is cleansed. Sabu, the mask.
Before we encase his royal remains in a magnificent sarcophagus and lay him to rest in his pyramid tomb, please can we go over it all just one more time? I want to make sure I've understood everything before our exams.
You really are a proper goody-goody, aren't you?
Yes, Sabu, apprentices. I find that a song can be a great aid to learning and remembering. So if you'd like to sing along...
Egypt's mighty kings and queens, so humbly we serve. And when they die, we've mastered means for them to be preserved. But the job isn't easy and the process is long. And it's not for the queasy. So
say cheese, everyone.
Well, obviously, that was a visitation from the spirit world. They are pleased with what work we have done today. Now, princes, please clear up quickly. What are you doing, Keith? Catching flies?
For the last time, it's pronounced chaos!
So an eventful, if frantic, first trip back to the past. With more great footage captured and more artifacts borrowed, Jill and Fred were on the move again.
Leaving ancient Egypt far behind, they arrived back in Britain. This was a settlement at York, now occupied by the Vikings and renamed Jorvik.
In their very first raid on Britain in 793, the Vikings had looted the monastery on the holy island of Lindisfarne, stealing treasures, murdering many monks, and enslaving the rest.
In the following century from their homes in Scandinavia, they had made repeated raids and invasions until they ruled a large part in Britain, which was named Danelaw. They had a fearsome reputation.
Welcome to Viking Britain.
Wow, the Vikings! They have a fearsome reputation.
Indeed they do. And here they come. Cameras out.
Thank you, everybody. Please quiet down with the growling and growling. We can start this session with our focus group. Ragnar, please, you're special girl this morning.
Oh, give it a rest, Ingrid. We're Vikings. It's what we do. We're vicious warriors. We pillage, we loot, we murder. Back me up, Sven. He's right, Ingrid. Where do you think I acquired the name Sven Spine Stretcher from? That last poor Saxon who crossed me. His feet ended up in one village and his head in another. Grrr!
Well, they don't call me Björn Redbeard for nothing. Now, come on, Ingrid. The very word Viking from the Scandinavian word Vik, meaning pirate. We've got an image to uphold.
Which is the very reason for forming this focus group. Since we settled in Britain and more or less squashed all Saxon revolts, it's time to change that image. I know you agree with me, Gertrude, don't you?
I certainly do. But if we don't do something soon, we'll forever go down in history as foul temperature, bloodthirsty, crude, uncultured and scruffy delinquents. We're better than that, surely.
That's a bit rich coming from you. Gertrude Gutslicer was your name back in Denmark. The most savage of all us shield maidens.
Ahem, I beg your pardon, Astrid. Shield maidens, care to enlighten me?
Gertrude and I were part of a female warrior group called the Shield Maidens, feared throughout Europe. We cracked a few skulls in our day.
It's true. We always felt a bit more confident going into battle alongside those shield maidens. They put most of us blokes to shame.
I'm absolutely speechless. Here I am, trying to promote a softer, friendlier image for our people, only to find out that the women like to tear it up as much as the men. Yes, Astrid.
Well, how come the sign you made is pinned to a shield with a dagger and written in blood? That hardly says soft or friendly, does it?
Yes, I made a mistake of letting Magnus here. Magnus Monkmauler set up the meeting area. I should have known better. At least it's spelled correctly.
Don't sound so surprised. I'm not illiterate. In fact, in my spare time, I'm a poet. I hope one day my work will be read by future generations who will realise what a sensitive and civilised bunch we really were.
Well done, Magnus. Maybe you'd like to read us one of your poems?
I'd be delighted. Here's a little something I wrote back in '92 when we just invaded that place in Ireland. What's it called? Ah yes, that's it. Limerick. Here goes. There once was a Viking called Lars, whose beard was a little bit sparse. We was told he was blessed, with much hair on his chest, and a few luscious tufts on his.
Ah, yes! Thank you, Magnus. Not quite what I was expecting, but it's certainly an improvement on murder and pillage. Now, perhaps... Hang on, what is that awful smell?
Sorry, that's just me. I can't seem to stop the old feet getting a little bit whiffy. I guess Stefan stinks, but isn't the name I'm getting rid of any time soon.
Listen, old pal,
Me and a few of the lads have started going every Saturday to Astrid's new beauty parlour. We get our hair washed and brushed and our beards plaited. You can have a bath there too.
Yeah, come along, Stefan. We'll sort you out. It's a little known fact that us Vikings love to look and smell nice. But maybe it's something we should start letting more people know about.
Now we're talking! Brilliant! This is just what we need! Any more ideas to give us a better reputation?
Weaving. Look at this new shoreline made. I bet if we start marketing things like this, we'll soon become known for our skills with the loom rather than with the axe.
Excellent! I can feel our history being rewritten as we speak. What next?
Well, how about I knock what's skilled art to class from you? Look at the sort of thing I've been knocking off my workshop in the evenings. Pretty, isn't it?
It certainly is, Bjorn. Come on, gang, what else have we got?
Well, how about we show people that we have a sense of humour?
How?
Horns on our helmets. What do you think? They're fun, aren't they? They show people that we don't take life too seriously. If we wear these, people won't be so afraid of us.
How ridiculous.
We'll look like cows.
What a dark idea.
Nice try, Astrid, but I think that's going a bit far. The idea is we want people to like us, but still respect us. I think we'll put a pin in that one for the time being. Anything else before we finish?
How about music? Being able to bang out a nice tune is always a good way of showing sensitivity. And it just so happens that I'm a bit of an amateur singer/songwriter myself. Here, take one each and join in. Just a little bit to make you feel realised.
There's a problem that we've got, and it happens quite a lot. And we're worried that we've been misunderstood. 'Cause the folks we meet each day seem to run the other way anytime we turn up in their neighbourhood. It can be a lonely life when you're a Viking. We're wondering if the pain will ever end. We've just been misconstrued. We're not vicious, we're not rude. Only looking for someone to call a friend. It can be a lonely life when you're a Viking. We're wondering if the hurt will ever stop. We're reaching out to you. Don't believe what isn't true. We're not just mindless murderers, and our helmets never had horns on the top. Yes, okay, it might be right. In the past we like to fight, and the village we would pillage now and then. But get to know us and you'll see that we're now good company. You might even say that we are Bjorn again. It can be a lonely life when you're a Viking. We're wondering if the pain will ever end. We've just been misconstrued. We're not vicious, we're not rude. Only looking for someone to call a friend. It can be a lonely life when you're a Viking. We're wondering if the hurt will ever stop. We're reaching out to you. Don't believe what isn't true. We're not just mindless murderers, and our helmets never had horns on the top.
Say cheese, everyone.
Did you see that? Were they Saxons?
They weren't like any Saxons I've seen before.
Whatever they
they were, I reckon they need taking down a peg or two.
Well, what are we waiting for? Grrr,
Guys, didn't we decide that violence wasn't really... Oh, whatever. Grrr.
Having managed to escape before being lynched by angry Vikings, Jill, Fred and Alexa were again zooming through the mist of time.
They leapt forward 650 years to the year 1589, straight into the throne room of none other than Queen Elizabeth I.
Wow, that looks like none other than Queen Elizabeth I.
So it's true. She did have red hair, a very white face, and wore a massive ruff.
It would appear so. Okay, you know the routine by now. Come on.
This famous image of the great queen was very familiar, though here, at the age of 56, that red hair was most definitely a wig. Her skin was indeed very white, but this was heavy lead-based makeup.
The makeup was used to cover up the scar she'd been left with after catching smallpox in 1562. She was regarded as a great beauty in her younger years, and she was keen that this image was maintained.
I'm not listening to you. I told you I like it.
But Your Majesty, all you're saying is that maybe you go a bit easy on the makeup. It makes you look a little scary and could be the reason why you've not found yourself a husband yet.
La 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 la. Still not listening. You know, at this rate, you will by Charles and England have a successor to the throne. And to throw the country into chaos. Oh, for heaven's sake, will you stop blathering on about me getting married and having babies? I've already got suitors pestering me from dusk till dawn without you going on about it.
Speaking of which, there's another one waiting outside. But is that Sir Walter Raleigh Chow again? He's very keen.
Oh, he's quite a dish, that one. He looks good in tights, and that beard he's got going on is really quite fetching.
And more importantly, he always brings prezzies, something exotic from his latest voyage to the New World. Shall I show him in?
Yes, I suppose so. But I keep telling you, I'm really not fussed about finding a husband. Okay, how do I look?
Gorgeous, Your Majesty. I'll go fetch our guest.
Your Majesty, your beauty has not faded since I last had the honour of being in your company. During my epic voyages to the far corners of the globe, I have never witnessed such radiance as that which I see in you, our good Queen Bess.
Don't call me that! It makes me sound like a horse. So why are you here?
I bring gifts from the New World, Your Majesty, from the colonies we named Virginia in your honour. I have...
Hang on. It's tobacco and potatoes again, isn't it?
You brought that last time you were here, and Her Majesty was not impressed. Of all the wonderful things you could have brought back from your voyages, you've basically succeeded in introducing chips and fags to the people of Great Britain. Not a great legacy, is it?
Oh, please, Sir Walter. This better not be another lame attempt to get me to marry you. Like that time, you spread your expensive cloak over a puddle for me and hoped I'd go all weak at the knees.
Oh, I thought that was a lovely gesture. I'd have said yes in a flash.
Well, you can't blame a chap for trying, and England must have an heir.
England must have an heir. Give me strength. I'm 56 years old. Honestly, I had that Francis Drake in here recently.
Oh, I like him too.
And he wouldn't shut up about how he led my navy to victory over the Spanish Armada last year and surely deserved my hand in marriage.
But what a victory, Your Majesty. Oh, go on, tell us a bit of the speech you made to the troops at Tilbury before the battle. It was awe-inspiring.
Well, okay, if you insist. I may have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and a king of England too.
And every king needs a queen. I mean, every queen needs a king. What I'm trying to say is...
I know what you're trying to say, Sir Walter. But I don't want a husband. I'm the greatest monarch England has ever known. They call me Gloriana, for heaven's sake. It doesn't get much greater than that. My navy defeated the Spanish Armada. I have made our nation prosperous. I have brought peace and religious tolerance.
So best not mention how you sorted out Mary Queens of Scots.
Bit of a blip, that one. Not my finest moment. But the theatre and the arts have flourished under my reign. New lands have been discovered and claimed in my name. This will be known as the golden age of our history. And I don't want or need a man messing that all up.
Well, surely your majesty doesn't want to be lonely in your old age.
Lonely? In my old age? It's because I'm single that I've lived as long as I have. Let me tell you about a strange visitation I had just a few nights before. Then you'll understand. I was lying in bed and then she appeared.
Elizabeth, I'm the ghost of your mother, Anne Boleyn. Heed my words and you may yet, unlike me, lead a long and happy life. For pity's sake, stay well away from fellas. They're a nightmare. Your father, for example, promised me the world. Then just because I didn't have male child, he chopped my head off. Typical man he was, a spoiled rotten and a crybaby when he didn't get his own way. No, my girl, you stay single. It's the only way you could be assured of some quality and quantity of life. Keep wearing the makeup too. It will help keep the men away. Oh, and lose the rough, not for any other reasons apart from it makes you look off. Right, hairy lip.
Hairy lip?
Yeah, mustache. Get it? Mustache, hairy lip. Bye now.
She's got a point, I suppose. Maybe you should take her advice.
Oh, I intend to. I am married to England and that's the way it will stay. And she was right about this ruff. I'd hate to be remembered for wearing such a ridiculous thing.
Come here, the lords and ladies, and all those in between, and hear our dedication to a most beloved queen. When suitors came a-calling from all across the land, our good Queen Bess no one said yes when they asked her for her hand. Gloriana, none could charm her, devoted to England she would stay. Gloriana, unlike her father, unmarried till her dying day.
Presentations? Well, at least those ones had their heads on. After all that excitement, I'm exhausted. You may leave me now.
So tell me, ladies, are any of you single?
Ooh, Sir Walter.
So from the splendid Tudor glamour of Queen Elizabeth's court, Jill and Fred now found themselves in quite different surroundings.
This was Christmas Day, 1914. Although there was no sound of fighting, they had arrived in a makeshift field hospital near the British trenches at Ypres, 5 months later after the First World War.
The reason there was no gunfire is because this was the famous Christmas truce. The fighting had stopped and soldiers from both sides shouted messages of goodwill across no man's land.
They sang carols, lit candles all along the Western Front, emerged from the trenches to shake hands and exchange drinks, chocolates and cigarettes. They showed each other photos of their families and shared their hopes that this terrible war would soon be over.
Wow, the First World War. We learnt a lot about this at school. And here we are in the middle of it.
Well, in a field hospital. I don't think we need to see any actual fighting to understand just how awful things are here. Okay, two, phones at the ready.
There, I'll think you'll live. If your only injury in this war is a twisted ankle, then you'll be one of the lucky ones.
Yes, thank you, nurse. I know things could have been a lot worse.
Oh, that's a nasty gash you suffered. How did it happen?
1 minute, everything was calm, and the next, the Germans were on top of us. We didn't stand a chance.
Oh boy, I think you're concussed. Let's get you sorted.
I don't know what happened. They cut through a defence as if it wasn't even there. Then I got an elbow in the face. An elbow? It's strange that none of these injuries from gunfire or explosions. Shells. In fact, why is it so quiet out there? What's going on?
It's the Christmas truce. The fighting stopped, and we met the Germans in no man's land, in peace. They're just like us, you know, frightened, cold, missing home.
Hang on, if the fighting stopped, then why are you still being brought in here with injuries?
I was thinking the same thing. There's not much of a truce if they're still attacking their boys.
There, just take some slow deep breaths. You're badly winded.
Blooming, cheating Germans, punching a chap in the ribs is an acceptable behaviour. You should have gone straight off for that.
Straight off? What do you mean? What is going on?
It's the Bosch. They just don't play fair. After that friendly meeting we had in no man's land, I thought it'd be a little kickabout.
Kickabout? You've been playing football in the middle of the war with the enemy?
Well, we're playing football, but I don't know what the Germans were doing though. Foul after foul after foul. And the referee was Captain Simmons. He's one of us. He didn't blow the whistle once.
You boys, what are you like? Even when the fighting stops, you still find a way of getting yourselves back and bruised.
It was nice though, while it lasted. The shared drink and a smoke of Fritz. They hear about their loved ones at home. Simply wish them a Merry Christmas.
Remember when we signed up to fight, that we'd be home by now. You'd be back by Christmas, they said, but I can't see any end to this.
And the friends we've already lost. So many, so young. And for what? A few yards of mud and scorched earth?
I miss my sweetheart Molly. We were supposed to get married in the spring. Nurse, there's a letter in my pocket which I read when I'm frightened or sad. Please would you read it for me now? I would, but...
Of course. My dearest Jack, I miss you with all my heart. I pray for your safe return soon. And all your pals who left on the train that day. Smiles on your faces and excitement in your voices. Can't imagine the horror you are witnessing or how brave you have to be to endure them. But I promise I will be here to take care of you when you do come home. Stay safe and stay strong. My love, your Molly.
Me and the boys just waiting in line, smiles all around and ready to sign up for the
we grab a selfie?
I think not this time. They already have enough to deal with without us causing any more confusion. Let's just try and get away quietly.
Well, that sounds like the hostilities have resumed.
And I suppose a couple of football injuries aren't really an excuse for staying here. Come on, you lot, back to the front. And who knows, maybe it'll be over in a week or two.
Well, here's hoping.
Back at home, their heads still spinning from everything they had seen, Jill and Fred now had to focus on the reason why they had been on this journey, to save the museum.
They set about organising all the selfies they had taken and carefully edited the video footage they had filmed.
They uploaded highlights of their historical journey on all their social media platforms and filmed one last piece to camera.
Okay, two. Let's make this one count. Action.
Hey, all you Jill and Fred fans, now listen up. History's just the coolest, most awesome thing ever. We know. We've seen it.
Check out our YouTube channel, our TikTok, our Snapchat, and our Insta pages. Spread the word. Like, subscribe, and share. Tell your parents we've even posted on Facebook, just for them.
Then, if you're blown away by the things you see, which we know you will be, then get yourselves down to the museum, where you can watch our journey in full on a big screen.
We'll be there to answer all your questions and show you the cool things we collected on our travels. Like this real Egyptian mummy mask and this strange thing that Queen Elizabeth I actually wore. It's true. We were there.
Doors open in an hour. Get there quick to avoid disappointment. See you soon.
I'm proud of you both. So proud. Now off you go and wow them in person.
But you have to come too. This would have been possible without you.
I'm afraid you'll have to do this last bit on your own. Anyway, I'm exhausted. I'm off for a well-earned snooze. But if you ever need me, you know the magic word. Goodbye, Jill and Fred. It's been a blast.
Shall we?
Let's do this.
And what a reaction they got, moments after posting footage of a huge crowd of excited Jill and Fred fans descended on the museum.
This is amazing. How did they do it? It looks so real. That brain coming out that nose, awesome. And those Vikings, who knew they were so sophisticated? How do you reckon that last half their limerick ended?
Ha, rudely I'm guessing. But what about Queen Elizabeth? What a woman. I can't wait to hear more about her.
And the Victorian, those kids were proper tough. You know what? I'll never complain about getting up for school again.
And hearing from the soldiers in the trenches, I can't believe what they went through. Next time I buy a puppy, it's going to mean a whole lot more. This is totally the best thing Jill and Fred have ever done.
Oh, Jill, look at the crowds. The museum has never been this busy before.
We want to do something again.
The whole thing? Not really.
Guys, if you could just go back to your really quietly, and we want this to be really quick, okay? We want Alexa to have the chance to do her song again. She missed her first line, and I know that if she watches it back, she's going to be kicking herself and thinking, I wish I got to do that song again. So if you could just give us 5 minutes, okay? But that means you've got to do that really quickly.
We don't know how you did it, but we're glad you did.
This has saved us. We can stay open. We can show everyone how amazing history is. We can make people fall in love with history again.
You'll never know how happy you've made us. What clever children you are. Oh, and if you ever fancy doing the same sort of thing again, we are a bit short of some museum stuff.
The Great Fire of London, the Black Death, World War II? Crikey, Grandma, that sounds like a fun trip. But I can't see Alexa turning up for that one, no matter how many times you say please.
Alexa? Who's that dear? A friend of yours?
Ha, I'll introduce you sometime. She's the real hero of this adventure.
And the amazing characters we've met along the way. They're the real stars. They're the ones who laid down the foundations of the amazing things we have today. The explorers, the inventors, the soldiers, the peacemakers, the pioneers, all of them. Here's to the ones who went before.